Today, the Biden administration announced the launch of the Civilian Climate Corps, which it says aims to create more than 20,000 jobs in the growing fields of clean energy, conservation, and climate resilience. Climate organizers, including groups like the Sunrise Movement and Democratic lawmakers, have been pushing for Biden to launch this program by executive order ever since it was negotiated out of the Inflation Reduction Act. And while this is a smaller version of what the original IRA proposal was, and much, much smaller than FDR's New Deal initiative, many are calling it a notable step towards addressing today's climate crisis. Joining me now is Gina McCarthy, former White House National Climate Advisor for President Biden and former EPA Administrator under President Obama. Gina, it's great to have you with us. Thank you so much for coming to New York and joining us here on set. Even though you're from Boston, we appreciate it. But, you know, there's two ways to look at this, right? Every step counts. I think most people would agree. Anything to help climate change or to fight climate change is important. But then you look at the scale of this and trying to understand what is it actually doing. And the focus of this is more on mitigation than on prevention. How important is this realistically? And is it more symbolic than impactful?
I think it's important because we know young people care about the challenge of climate change and they want to participate. This is about actual job training opportunities in clean energy, which is our future. And it's also resilience so that if a disaster strikes, there's more ability to protect people. And so this is giving young people a real opportunity, especially young people that come from, communities that aren't rich, communities that really need these jobs. And these young people will be able to get that type of experience. Plus, they're going to get a little boost and reduction in their college tuition. So this has a lot of makings of something that is really a great start and could end up continuing to move forward because they'll get clean energy jobs. They'll be already experienced and they'll know what they're doing. And so this is a great opportunity for us, I think, for young people to get some jobs and experience.
Can you expand on that part of it a little bit? Because I know that you were, privy to the initial negotiations around the IRA, which was to set up a climate corps. But what are the jobs of the future that areas that are impoverished and these young people that you're talking about are going to pursue?
Yeah, clean energy jobs can be as simple as you work with a community to identify a strategy to reduce greenhouse gases. You actually work with them to look at all the benefits of the Inflation Reduction Act, especially the consumer benefits. You teach them how to access these rebates and these tax credits. You look at opportunities to actually go into natural resource areas to help clear land, to get the underbrush out and save lower the opportunity for fire damage to happen. So there's just a wide variety of opportunities, and I'm sure it's going to be really exciting and potentially be oversubscribed, is my guess.
Let's hope so. That would certainly be good news, I think. I don't know if you caught the earlier segment. We had a clip from a congressman from Tennessee just describing Washington as dysfunctional. And so I guess my question to you, and I'm sure that's not a surprise to you. I think he was specifically talking about Capitol Hill and Congress, but should the president rely more on executive order to deal with the issue of climate change, given the time crunch civilization finds itself in when nothing is getting done on Capitol Hill? Should he rely more on executive order in any capacity to fight climate change?
Well, I think the thing to remember is that he's gotten things done on the Hill.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about the bipartisan infrastructure law, which is really allowing us to have more resilient infrastructure. And then you're talking about the Inflation Reduction Act, which is more than $370 billion. And we're already in 1 year when this bill extends these credits and tax rebates and other things for some of them 10 years. In the first year, we've already seen $278 billion of investments. So we're talking about huge success already that ought to continue. There's no reason why it wouldn't. This is money that's going to red and blue states, and they're taking these dollars and they're really making a lot of it because not so much that they're standing up and saying, bravo, we're addressing climate change. They're saying, bravo, we're creating an economic future for our country, a healthier future, one that actually focuses investment on the communities left behind.
Speaking of economic futures, I want to ask you and get your thoughts on something we were just talking about in the break, and that is the Global South. A lot of the attention this week has been on trying to focus resources to the Global South, not because they are the largest contributors of pollution to our planet. In fact, perhaps the opposite. We know that it's come from the developing world and China. But how do you begin to recalibrate the thinking about the resources that need to be sent to the Global South to help with their economic future?
I think the first thing you have to do is reconcile that while the U.S. is moving forward and with the Inflation Reduction Act and other things, we are sort of moving the other countries in the developed world to actually take similar action. But what we have to recognize is that the rest of the world needs to engage. The populations are large. The poverty can be extreme. They need economic development solutions. They need sustainable energy. They need the support of the developed world to actually ensure that they have the same opportunities that we have. You know as well as I, we're the ones that emitted most of the greenhouse gases. Yeah. We still are, and it's really time for us to step up and use our private sector and public sector to work together to find benefits that will benefit all of us.
Yeah, let's hope we can do it sooner than later. We certainly need it. Gina McCarthy, thank you so much.
Greatly appreciate it. It's great to be on.
Thank
Thanks.
you.